Hey, this is our first game with Cassyva Creep Aggro deck. We're going to be playing against a Fey Vanna deck. Usually these are either walls, although that's become pretty popular with Kara now, or it's a face deck, which is similar to what we're doing. So we'll both be trying to be aggressive, and I think that's probably the case here, although Crystal Cloaker is played in many different decks, so we can't get a read off that. Now, our worry here is that if our opponent manages to kill off the 2-1, they'll be able to just attack our Sojourner with their 4-3 Crystal Cloaker and be able to seize the board pretty easily if this dies off and they use the General and the Crystal Cloaker to attack our Sojourner. So that's what we're worried about, but I still think this is the best play for us to make here because Darkspine Elemental or Primus Fist also get killed off for free. And if we play 2 cards now and draw 1 at the end of turn, if we get 2 draws off the Sojourner, we're not too upset. And the Crawler needs to be dealt with, and we'll place a Shadow Creep, which is good for us. It'd be nice to get more out of this, but in this deck you're not going to place them as defensively. You want them to be bodies as well as the ability. In some decks you can place them and just let the creep tick up because you're going for a late game obliterate, but that's not this deck. So right now we kind of get aggressed on pretty hard by the enemy, so we're going to try to retreat a little bit and kind of restabilize our board position by attacking off their Tiger. They got pretty good value. Anytime you can get the Tiger to attack a 1 power creature, that's going to be good value out of the Tiger. So we're going to trade in a Shroud because we're probably not going to need to silence any taunts. There are decent value silence targets, but if we're playing a 2-mana 1-1, we're probably going to fall further behind on the board than any value we gain by silencing it. We're going to play the Ooze to try to get some Shadow Creep on the board, and we'll make sure we play our minions away from our General's column so we don't get hit with the Battle-Worn spell. We get the Scorn comes down and hits all our minions and kills a couple of them, which is not good for us. But the Darkspine Elemental is going to be making her tick for 2 a turn, and we're getting lower health than we'd like to. So we're going to run out the Void Pulse just to do some damage. It's a little bit worrying to be trying to go face right now with so few cards in my hand. But I think with the Sojourner that we can lay down, we can draw cards back up, so we don't want to end up replacing that Void Pulse, and it helps us stabilize the damage race. So right now we're just going to let her tick down and trying to refill on cards. She's going to dispel the Sojourner, which means we won't get cards, but it did eat a card of hers. And then she Hearth Sisters. We're going to use the Primus Fist just to trade up. Although we may have been better off here, I believe we would have been better off using our face to hit the enemy minion and then trading into the General, or hitting into the General and leaving a 1-1 on the board. We would take 3 damage, she would take 3 damage as well, but we have more on the board to win this race. Instead we each end up taking 2, but we don't have a 1-1 minion on the board, so I think that play would have been better, but I'm not entirely sure. I think we're in a decent position because we have so much minion control, and because we can lay down this Shadow Nova and do 4 damage to everything, although that plan goes out the window once all of our minions die because of the Naga, which does 2 damage to all minions and generals, hers and mine, in an area. So right now we're going to see the Abyssal Juggernaut come down, which is going to be pretty big, and we ping this off so we can place the Ooze here. It would die at the end of turn anyways, but we want to get, the Juggernaut here. We want to try to wall off our General from their General because we have a superior board position right now, and our biggest fear is just getting killed. So we want to try to wall off, and we don't mind being in the same column because her Bloodborne spell is not off cooldown, so we're not as worried about that. So here we're in a decent position. She's going to go down to 6, which is pretty low, and it's lethal with our Juggernaut. Now right now, here's one of the weaknesses of Sphere of Darkness, is it doesn't remove the minion until the end of turn, but it does draw a card, so we're going to play this on this minion anyways, because if we don't draw something good, we want this to die either way. And we're able to draw the lure off the Sphere of Darkness and just move in for the kill. So we got a good win against another aggro deck that's actually very powerful. There's some good lists on duelistdecklist.com that have reached S rank with very low spirit. So that's the first game. We'll have a second one coming up.